Hello, DayZ world. I'm the Greedy Peasant, and welcome to the Peasants Podcast. Get comfortable as we sit by the fire and chat everything DayZ. We are live from the TPP studio server with the podcast team. Long-term DayZ console player, Mr. ADKQ, and the chat controller and security Queen Peasant. We'd like to welcome, of course, the DayZ community in. Here at TPP, we want to hear what you have to say. So drop your thoughts and your opinions in chat. This podcast gives a voice to the DayZ console people. So welcome everybody to the Peasants Podcast. So today we're going to do a little run through. I put a question up on my Discord to say, hey, what do you guys want to see in 2025 from the devs? As we know, this gets front and center on the DayZ spotlight. So great opportunity to, of course, voice your opinions and get it across. We also want to run through the last part of the episode of Boydie's Spotlight with the Dev. Q's going to give a big rundown on that. He's done all the watching. We've also got some very sad news that I found out yesterday. But let's dive into it. Let's dive into it now. We're in our little new studio. We are above the minigame server. All the way up about 500 metres. New lounges. Mr. Stickdrift, how are ya?
Yeah, drifty.
Drifty, I heard you yell out. That was beautiful. No!
It's trying to run himself into the fire.
Well, just mind your step. It is a little far down. Although you may enter yourself into a game if you log out correctly.
Yeah, death to game.
That's it. We're currently just the boys today. Me and Mr. Q, as I said, Smiley's away at a follow-up Christmas do. She had a influenza hit over Christmas and really couldn't do anything. Had to play nurse, so she's off celebrating her Christmas run today. So we miss you, bruv. But let me introduce the thug of the TPP. Mr. ADKQ. Hey, bud, how you doing?
Yeah, very good.
Very good.
Super excited about the number of episodes it is today.
Yep.
Smiley's missing out on that one.
Yep. Bruv didn't take in, hasn't been counting. So, yes, we are episode 100 officially today. We had 51 episodes last year, and we are currently up to episode 49. We missed out on episode 13 due to I got COVID and it wiped me out the weekend. So, and we weren't prepped and we didn't have a backup plan to what would happen. So it's the only episode we ever cancelled. So, absolutely.
Quite amazing. We've been doing this over 2 years and you've missed one episode.
Yep.
Pretty good commitment.
That's pretty hectic. It is pretty hectic. You guys come along in episode 8, so you guys get to make your 100 episode debut. So we're going to be looking forward to that.
Yeah, wow, that's not far away either.
No, you'll be right beside me 90% of the way, Mr. Q.
I was there for the first one too, I remember.
Yep. Officially on the first one, where we spawned us in near the castle and sat on Humvees. And the peasant had no idea what he was fucking doing. We're gonna touch base on that. We're gonna do a little rundown next episode on episode 101. Just looking back on where the podcast came from. How it started, some of the guests that we've had on. We've had some absolute legends. Some of the legends aren't even in the game anymore. Yeah, it's been a wild ride. Been an absolutely wild ride, especially now that we look at, we get our own area on the spotlight. We're in tune with the devs now. We're recognised in the community. It's been a great effort.
It really is. And I know that that we're actually being recognised and well done. Where I just mentioned to a certain server that I'm in at the moment, about, hey, you guys interested in coming on? And straight away I got, yep, definitely. When? How?
Yep. We're
Uh,
definitely keen to get that server on too. That's an interesting one. I think that's going to be part of your news later
yeah.
on, so I won't spoil it this time. Got a bit of news this week, don't you?
We do indeed. We do indeed.
First of all, let's go through some updates on our server news. What have we got here? We've done that one. This is the Lords of Livonia, medieval. I wonder if it's got music on it. But not have music. I'll punch you out. Well, we'll see how this goes. Alright.
Oh, is this Scrooge?
Yeah.
In the year 308, after collapse, the land of Livonia breathes life once more. I stand before you, not as a ruler of old, but as the architect of a new era. Join me in the Role Players Oasis, Lords of Livonia. Behold the legacy of the Northmen, their ingenuity immortalized in iron and stone. Yet their ambition was their undoing, and from their ashes I have risen to forge a new path. The necromancer Askar's dark sorcery once sealed our fate, but his reign has ended. Now, the savage zealots who guard these lands will witness the might of those who dare to dream. To the nobles without lands, the warriors for hire, the common folk with hearts of lions, I call you to arms. Claim your legacy and rise among the sovereigns of Livonia. This is not just a call to reclaim a throne. It is an invitation to become pioneers of destiny. The promise of a new dawn awaits. Seize it! The throne is reclaimed. The Empire reborn. Will you heed the call? Role Players Oasis, Lords of Livonia. Your legend starts now.
That's pretty hectic.
Yeah.
Very, very
The
hectic.
voiceover for it, the voiceover is fucking awesome too. Quality.
Absolutely nuts. It's not him too, which is surprising.
Yeah. Yeah, that surprised me too.
I hit him up
There
for
is-
it. But yeah, that's Lords of Livonia. You can catch that on my Discord, !Discord. Have a look for it. Just hashtag in the mention, Lords of Livonia. Medieval server, so much work to it. A lot of fun. We played it for a couple of weeks. And as a lot of things do, you visit so many servers, you forget to come back. But we'll have to definitely go back and have a squiz. Selecting role with the whole skill-based upgrades. Yeah, Screw's definitely done a definitely good job. Definitely check it out. And epic trailers too, all the time.
Oh, phenomenal. And just the build of the server itself is just epic. It's one of those things that it's almost like nothing else you really see on DayZ. He's actually created a complete different world where you wouldn't even realise you were in Livonia.
Yeah, 100%. And speaking of role plays, the Plagueland server, that's a big roleplay server on PlayStation, is actually coming across to Xbox, I believe, this year. They did the Viking Valhalla run through where you actually started in Valhalla and then were put back into onto the land to survive, and then you would die and return to Valhalla. That was pretty hectic. So yeah, definitely keep an eye out on that. A little post in my Discord about it. Yep.
Nice.
Faith from the Plaguelands. We're going to be featuring some of the builds that went through on that on one of the earlier podcast episodes. Where we're going to actually get a run through of it. A server will be set up, ready to go, and we'll be teleporting around to some of the different builds, checking it out. It's probably one of the biggest and beautifulest builds I've seen in a very long time. So it needs a little touring, and that will be a feature episode. So yeah, keep tuned for that. All right, let's drop down to our episode topic. So our episode topic was a question I asked in the Discord, which was, what do you want to see from 2025 from the devs or from the game? You know, we've got a massive variety of answers. Yeah, fire away, Q. I know you want to say something here.
Well, we all know what I want. It's a change to the zombie AI. Well, it needs work. It really does.
Yeah,
But
100%. Well, that was a lot of the comments were actually talked about. You know, zombie AI, talked about you know, the mechanics of the game itself, rather than, you know, add-ons. Just playing around and fixing and bringing the quality of the game up. That obviously didn't surprise me at all. Vehicles was another topic of choice.
oh, do need a fresh lot of vehicles. You know, maybe one that, you know, uses 2 wheels instead of 4.
100%. Don't care if it's gas powered. Don't care if it's just a bike. I think the bike incorporated in the game, the push bike, would just revolutionise it. I mean, it would, depending on how easy it was to get round, it would do 2 things. It would allow people to basically ride to, you know, Tizzy in a shorter amount of time. You know, find a bike, jump on, go for a ride. But you'll also get a lot more, you know, that internal or high tier activity. Doesn't matter what map you look at, Livonia, Sakau. I think they'd all benefit from a lot more freshies heading down to those high tier areas trying to find that quality loot.
Well, it helps push what the devs want, that movement across the map. It's going to make it a lot easier.
Yeah.
It really would.
It would.
And it also fits. It fits in with the design of the game, you know, because more than likely you're going to find a push bike and get a push bike going in the apocalypse than you are a vehicle.
Yeah, 100%.
If you really think about it.
I probably wouldn't want a vehicle. I know it's fast, but, you know, when you're looking at this sort of situation, it's loud.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? as
I'd want to be stealthy as can be.
100%. Give me a Tesla. No problems at all, as long as I can charge my batteries, because they're quiet as fuck. But yeah, I think noise would be the biggest thing. I mean, we hear trucks, we hear cars, and you run 200-300 meters to try and see if you can get it. The animals, Mr. Gaz points out, horses like Deer Isle. I don't know why they haven't incorporated some of the animals. The wolves, a sled style, horses to be able to ride, horse and cart. Surely, in the point where the cars would fail, we would revert back to those sorts of, pre-industrial age technologies.
Yeah, well, that's true. Well, even breeding animals. Why can't we breed an animal?
Yeah, well, breeding, I mean, it's got its own, game-wise, it's got its own problems. That's a lot of memory, but there's plenty of room in this game for it. There is a better engine out there that could handle that sort of stuff. But they have facilities already built in to be able to breed chickens. You could.
Oh,
You got all the chicken huts,
Well,
which
yes.
already caged out, already ready to go. Why can't you use those facilities to be able to capture and grab a chicken? I mean, you're talking about freshies running around after chickens, but yeah.
well, why can't we have eggs? There's so many fucking chickens in DayZ. Surely they're laying eggs somewhere.
Well, that's
Cheeky couple of eggs in a cooking pot, munch down on boiled eggs.
yeah. See, that's a good idea. That's the direction that I think they need to fluff out in the game. Is the parts missing? Where's the horse? Where's the cow manure? So we can use that for fertilizer. Where's that sort of? I want to find cow shit and throw it at cute. Why can't I?
Hey, we already got some sort of shit in the files.
Yeah.
Don't know if I want that flung at me though.
Yeah, true. And unfortunately, you can't pick that up yet. We'll see what mods run through it. But yeah, when it comes to transport, not many people mention the animals. Most people added planes or choppers, quad bikes, snowmobiles, bikes, bicycles. There's horses there. Oh, we did see another one.
I do know horses will be something that's must be extremely hard to code in, because I did watch on a lot of the PC mod stuff tried to bring horses in for a long time, and it seems like it's an actual difficult thing to mod in because I've never really got it too well.
No, and it looks all right, but it is still heavily glitchy, heavily glitchy.
Yeah, which seems weird because they can mod in things like helicopters there, and by all means that they run pretty smooth. You'd think just a horse would be a lot simpler, but
Well, there is
there's a lot more mechanics to it.
there's no prefabricated design, so a helicopter is technically just like a gunter, with a different frontal design, different dashboards. If you want to see how cars or vehicles are designed, Josie Garfunkel's consistently building vehicles, but it shows how modular cars are compared to a single stand up over the top, like you're riding a horse or a motorbike. Like you look at the bike mechanics, even the bike mechanic is very, very rough. I mean, it's improved much so over the last 12 months. Last time I watched Misfit Mummy, they were jumping off some industrial area with them, testing them out. And they put up all right. Like they crumbled and, for the height distance, they stacked it and the bike wasn't too bad. But early days of that stand-up style. Gat says it's like DayZ is stuck in a single period of time. It allows for planted seeds, but it's not really designed for long-running farming. And animal breeding for farms would be a good idea for role-player service. Guys, 100% nailed it. The role-play community would absolutely love that. Absolutely love that.
I think a lot of that is, that I guess, the way that devs look at the way the game should be played. That they're constantly, as we talked about, trying to get that movement across the map. Then when you start adding in things that are long-term, like farming and animal breeding and stuff like that, that's more putting people to stay in one spot rather than migrating around.
Yeah, it's people see that sort of stuff in the end game of the actual run through. Like after you kit up, after you do all that, then what are you supposed to do? People still look for that. I want to find a base, and build a farm. Is that going to work? Nah. Not an official. You're not going to be able to really hide, and that's where the next section is the biggest important thing, apart from the infected, is the base building system. We had a lot of outcry for base building system about, focus on base building and, fix that, fix how it's done, give it an overhaul. I think the ability of not being able to have a secure home is where DayZ fades out for some of the major population. Because if you...
Yeah, definitely.
You go.
Especially with console, because console, more so than PC, we seem to want to build that base more. We seem to want to just hunker down and have a home. And it's just almost impossible to do, especially on official servers, unless you're on 24/7. It's a end.
100%. Mr. Brandon, Mr. Chill, Rob, how are you guys? Welcome. Also, I think you'd get a lot more of the Rust player base onto DayZ. I think DayZ has that randomness that the Rust players want. When it comes to, venturing around the map, hitting those POIs, looting up, getting vehicles, stuff like that. But they've nailed their base building. Their base building system is just off the planet when it comes compared to DayZ. Gaz makes a good point. Bases would be vastly improved by replacing those combination locks. Yeah, if they just had a quick beep, 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 beep done in, 100%, a lot more people would do it. A lot of people die at the gates of their bases. I know I used to kill people there.
Yeah, definitely. But not only that, if you want to build a base that's not so easy to raid, you need more than 5 or 6 doors and gates. And to go through 5 or 6 gates to get in, and then 5 or 6 gates to get out, that's a hell of a hassle for a lot of people. It takes so long.
Yeah. And it's painful. It's a slow process. It's, most of the time, a lot of people now will just lock up their bases and have an ult on the inside and throw shit out, throw shit in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just to keep that security.
It goes even further. That's why people don't build bases. People don't build bases because it's too easy to raid. It takes so long to get a base put together, and it's so fast to raid them. Yeah. I think that's one of the major problems.
Do you think it should go back to tool raiding? Because that was always a pain in the ass. It was easy, but it was a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I think it should. It should be something that takes a lot longer time to raid. It needs to be balanced out with the amount of time that it takes to build a base and maintain one to what it does to raid one. You know, this should be even, but it's imbalanced.
Yeah, they definitely don't have that mixture of what a base is for, how to properly use that base, and the situations between raiding and defending. You should be able to, I don't know, I don't think an auto turret, but some sort of technology that protects your base. I understand there's tripwires and stuff like that. Maybe those sorts of stuff under your flag should recognize you as the person or the owner of the base and not blow up, so you can and permanently be there. Because landmines are all well and good around your base, but it doesn't say that, it doesn't distinguish between you and your enemy. Yeah, I think that's some of the things that need to be really pulled in. I do miss a hacksaw for the locks. Stop Irish 100%. So I used to cut locks with the hacksaw, which makes sense. It's only a bike lock.
Yeah.
Even have a wall material that can upgrade, that can put up with explosive damage. Yeah. Used to hate getting killed while I was trying to build base. That's my Queenie. Like an upgrade to place sandbags. Yeah.
Gaz has a point about the wall material, because we do have the sheet metal, but the difference between sheet metal and just timber isn't fuck all either. It's not a big difference.
No. No, it's
Now,
not.
especially considering how hard it is to get sheet metal to your base, unless you've got a vehicle, you're carrying that for a long time to get it to base.
Yeah, slowly. Very, very slowly. I remember breaking walls with sledgehammers. And that was always, you know, when we did a lot of faction raiding back in the day when, you know, Skinwalkers was around and we'll verse the Baptists and base raid and stuff, that's how we had to do it. We had to have one guy go in and sit there and smash the shit out of it with a sledgehammer while two guys protected him under smoke. Now the person sitting in the bushes pumping M79 grenade launcher rounds into the front of it.
Yeah, or just drop 12 bloody grenades, which, yeah, they're not hard to come by.
Yeah, or cookie pop bombs. That was the other ones that were always good. They did a lot of damage.
Yep.
Yeah, sea chest. That was always fun. Barrel bombs. That was another one. But it was animated, but they removed it. You'd actually say destroy base from the outside, and they start hitting it. But it became a team effort. Now it's and I think that's what lost the value of bases overall.
I wonder why they brought that change in. Was it because people were complaining that base raiding was too hard at one stage?
No, too easy.
Must have.
No, it was too easy. Because it was the point that someone could grab a couple of tools from the coast, find the base on their way in, and crack the front door. Because finding a grenade back then was near impossible. There were no, landmines were around, but they were all placed at Tizzy as soon as someone found them. There were no explosive charges. There were no grenade launchers. So, people thought it has to be done via grenade, then it'll be a lot harder. But then fast forward a couple of updates and the loot pool push that raised all the levels of loot around the place, especially unofficial, then changed that scenario altogether. Because now you could go for a run, especially after a reset or after a update, and pick yourself up 5 or 6 grenades. now you got enough to be able to raid. So it basically did a whole 360, but went from let's do it with tools to let's make it easier and do it with nades. So there's a lot of things that they, and a lot, I find a lot of companies do this. They knee jerk. I do find DayZ is quite like this. They get a poor outcry of a certain either player base or individuals or influencers style, and they knee jerk and change it rather than allowing the process to stay in and allowing it to fully be discussed of why we should take this out or add this in or actually roll with it. I would prefer to go back to the days of having to kick someone's door in because the actual player base now is so used to using explosives that would change the game of rather than sitting in the bush, you'd have to, one buddy would have to kick the door in while two watched him under smoke. You know, you'd have to watch your explosions going into it because you've got your own crew at the door. So, or even maybe that's where the modifications are going to come into that they're talking about. Maybe mods are going to be where they're going to be able to switch on and off, you know, things that the community have that are easy just to put a new set of code in. If you want this, follow this particular file. If you want this style, follow this particular file. And you could revert back into base raiding via weapons. You could decide which version you wanted. You know, you could, like in the version, I think it was 1.18, where they had a wheel issue connecting with the ground, so they switched off all damage from wheel damage to the actual land, and you could drive outside the map. The Infected is another one.
Yeah, I think the Infected is a big one that they do need to work on. But I think the problem is with working on the Infected is I think they're scared to do it now after they tried tampering with it a couple of updates ago.
Yeah, that's right.
I think that's why they put it off more than anything.
100%. And should they have reverted? I don't think so. I think we would have adapted to how DayZ would have been, and it would have been a hell of a lot more dangerous rather than exactly how it was.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we do have a little bit of info about why they haven't done a few of these things. I was going to say for my business, but it kind of fits in with what we're talking about now, with the interview that Survivor FM did with Thales, one of the devs, and he was talking about things like Infected, and the reason why they haven't actually changed the Infected is because they used to have a dedicated dev working on it, but he left, and after he left, they've had no one that's dedicated to work on it, and because it's such a big undergoing, they don't have the devs to drop one off to start doing it.
Oh.
And a similar thing with the base building. They've said that they want to work on the base building. They realise that it needs fixing, but because they've got so much else going on, and it's not just a quick, easy thing to do, it's going to take a lot of time.
Yeah.
So they will end up working on it, but he's saying, you know, it's a 6-month plus project. You know, it's not just here's a dev for a week or a month, overhaul the base building. It's take much more devs and a lot more time.
That's quite interesting. Mr. Teabag says, Brennan says, people always find a way to complain even if it's not a problem. 100%. People got reason to speak. I have found that out. That they tend to just voice stuff in the opposite just for the point of being the opposite. Driving outside of was peak DayZ, 100%. I want to build a whole server around it. Steve actually, they said that's why they haven't done the AI as they have lost their lead AI designer and no replacement for him, and they cannot just replace the guy. That's one of the hardest parts of the games to create. Oh, see, so if that's
Yes, I think that when they were working on the AI, and for what some people say they messed it up or they tried to improve it, I think that they've realised then that look, it's not so simple as just putting someone on to do it. That it's a lot harder task to get things right.
yeah, that'd be that's very interesting. And that's see, and that sort of information I think needs to be brought up to the community. The community's complained about the AI and stuff like that for quite a long time. Why haven't they sort of say, listen, we don't have an AI lead. The community would. How many people would have 4 or 5 years ago would have shifted their focus on the AI creation to be able to get our hopes and dreams?
Mm.
You know what I mean?
I don't like talking bad about devs or anything like that, but Mark's job as community manager, I feel like he's not stepping up and communicating with the community as much as he could do. You only really ever seem to see him when they're doing dev streams.
Yep.
Otherwise, he's not really as vocal as what I'd like him to be. They do say that they're all about the communication these days, but I feel that they're still not communicating enough. They're still not bringing these things out.
No,
There's a lot of
I'll
stuff that
definitely
got
agree
brought
with
up
you there.
at that interview that they had with Boydie. There was a lot of things that they brought up and talked about that I had no idea about. And I sat back and I thought, well, these are things that Marks could easily just once a week or once every 2 weeks just make a video on.
Yep. No, that's some of the other things that could be put across in 2025 is, a better communication with the dev team, being a bit open and honest about what the situation is behind the scenes. They're a very proud company. We don't want to, see that anything's going wrong. But I do think they need to throw it on the table to see how it's rolling. Break it, hey, bro. How you doing? Welcome. That's when they sacked the guy saying they don't need him and then realise they fucked up. Oh, God. Yeah, so he's not just coming back because he's gone for a 6-month trip or a better contract. They've broken ties with him. That's going to be a little issue, isn't it? So, looks like our AI for our infected may not come over the next 12 months. It may be 2026 when it comes out.
Yes and no, because I think that they might be looking into a site to change that. Because you look at how much they've been subcontracting out work to PC modders and stuff like that. And now there's some really good PC modders that are doing AI and doing different things with the zombies. Why wouldn't they, or why can't they reach out to one of them in 2025 and say, hey, look, do you want a job?
Yeah. Or even a 6 months contract. Come and have a 6 months run.
Yeah.
Pump out an AI. Or put a bounty on it.
Well, you look.
Like hackers do.
Well, they did the thing with Windstride and the clothing for Chicago and all the new clothing. And that looks fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Windstride was one of the best clothing developers on PC.
Yeah. Well, they're definitely out there. Mr. Teabag says, yeah, exactly. Or they would know how to do it. Or they would know how to do what he did. I went, nope. DayZ 2, what's the point? I don't think they'll come to DayZ 2. As I said, I honestly believe DayZ 2 is the next version.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen when we switch engines.
Yeah, It's the
No,
official trademark version of DayZ 2, which will be the same game. It'll just be 2.0.
we'll be running that sweet infusion.
Yep. They said they wasn't a fake leak. Yeah, but I don't think it's going to be a brand new game. I think they'll take what they've got here, mix it with the Arma Reforger engine, and bring it out and try and re-release it as DayZ 2, come and see the next generation. But it'll be Chinaris, and it'll be Livonia, and it'll be Scow, be all the fucking mechanics and same cars, same items, same everything. And people will get on the hype and think that it's going to be a whole new, brand new game. And don't get me wrong, the new engine will be fat, and the game will, graphically will look beautiful. But I don't think it's going to be a different game. I think it's going to be all the patch coding in a one streamlined style of code.
I think it'll turn out being similar to, for example, 7 Days to Die, and how they brought out to 1.0 or the official release of 7 Days to Die, but it's a different game because you have to pay for it again, but it's still a new game.
Yeah.
I also don't think that that'll happen till well after Arma 4's come out and had its hype, because they're not going to put up another game to go against Arma 4.
No, and
that's the big cash cow.
And that's gathering momentum slowly. Or it would have been done already. I listened to what they said, not just speculation. Well, Teabag, I'm just speculating. Because I didn't watch the interview.
Yeah, no. Well, Teabag is right. Yeah, he has said they did say all those things.
Yeah. Yeah, it's their own words on it. Yeah, 100%. When it comes to the Peasent podcast, Greedy's opinion is what tries to sway them. But would you repay for it? Would you buy DayZ 2?
Yeah, fucking A. If it was running amazing, if it looked anything like Arma and Forger, hell yeah.
Hmm.
And if not anything else, just to help support them and help them keep throwing money at the game.
I tell you what.
The more we help them, the more longer the game sticks around.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I think there'd be a massive backlash, especially from the side of where if like someone like me who's had it since preview, had it all this time, bought all the what do you call it, and then DayZ 2 comes out and it's Arma Reforger in DayZ. Yeah. Can you imagine the backlash of that?
Well, get ready, get your whips out, peeps, because it's going to be like that in the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Mark the space.
And that's what I think the old DayZ 2 is going to be about. It's a relaunch or refresh. Yeah, who knows? I'll have to go back and watch the interview and have a fact gathering.
That's really a good watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be nice if, devs, you guys wanted to come and talk to us about this yourselves, instead of us having to go get second-hand information. That'd be good.
Well, that's the thing I want to do. I want to bring them on, bring someone to come represent and have a crack and at least talk about some of the, openly about some of the stuff that they can and can't, not have it too, this is the set line of questions. We're going to stay here. You know, at the podcast, we tend to brief out and stretch out. So, Ross says it would have to be a different game, a different lore or story. But what is the lore of DayZ? It has zero lore. Like, yeah, we got a little bit of the yellow king and the chick and them fighting out throughout the different runs. But I haven't seen any lore step out to Sakau. I haven't seen any further. That sort of storyline was heavily based in Livonia. But Chernarus is just wake up on the coast. Well, it's wake up on the coast after a apparent shipwreck. But Chernarus is the virus outbreak started on a cruise liner or a boat, and that's how it hit. Then the infected were taken down to Pavlovo military base and then moved up to the top military base, and that's how the spread happened. I believe from the stories from Armour, I believe that's where that comes from. But Sakau has no law whatsoever, so they've pretty much got an open platter to do whatever they want. If they wanted to merge and do what 7 Days to Die did and reinvigorate the market with a new game. Yeah, 100% yet. I mean, I thought they would have had it to start off with. I think that sort of stuff will come when you get the second update of Livonia, of Sakau. When it finally gets its little tweaks and the islands get done and that sort of stuff. New mechanics or an expansion of the game, either new engine. Well, I'll tell you what, it'll be a whole new world.
I could even see them moving away from Chernarus and Livonia, maybe giving us a Western style map. Yeah, like America or England.
It's got to be something that's got to be a warmer environment or a hot. They don't have a hot yet. You know, where you're struggling for water. Similar to Sakau, where it's water's the biggest, what do you call it? Necessity. But in that hot temperature. Where you're fighting the heat, you're not fighting the cold. Livonia's on experimental, so what are they adding? Well, I know Livonia went to experimental because of the day Sakau dropped out, that they had to put something on. I think it was experimental when the update dropped for the DayZ New Night and all the servers went out. Oh, there was a clash out between client side and server side versions, so they pushed it across Livonia to experimental so people could drop. But they could drop more to the Livonia story, 100%. Like, there's nothing about the bunker, there's nothing about, any of that sort of story. There's the pox side of it. The gas strikes and stuff they could talk about and merge into. They need to get some of the role players in the communities to come on board and start fleshing out some of the lore and storyline to all the servers. A nice little competition would be to, give us your best story for Sakau, give us your best story for Chernarus. Give us the lore.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, that's the whole point of DayZ is there isn't a law. It's you make your own story. I mean, that's why they officially haven't really put out any full-on law about it all, is because they want to encourage people to make your own story. And I guess that goes with the law too.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest clashes. You've got a community that would absorb, like, look at the response to Sakau's little run through. People always say, what's the story? What's the path? What's the story? What's the path? So I think it needs a story to bring those people back because people get to the point where they're like, okay, I've got gear. Now I just hunt people. So they just go to the coast and find the people they can find.
Unfortunately, that's the way Sakau is, I think.
Yeah.
Because Sakau is so hard to survive on. It's, from my experience of it, it's not a long-term server there that you can build a base and happily survive. It's super hard. And it's like, I love Sakau, I really do. But I'm over constantly having to have a fire. Like, I'm sick of my main mission of the day is make sure I stay warm.
Yeah. And I've noticed with official is very brutal on the coasts. Very brutal, like old school Chinaris. It was when it was a single map. Just people even pulling pistols to just get that little bit ahead, which is good. That's the way we want to go. But I believe, as Raj said, it's very slow moving. Mr. Teabag says, DayZ won't need to change at all. I think the new mechanics and things to see and do, but I can't see it would need to change if it did. Wouldn't be DayZ, people trying to make it PvP RPG game. It's a survival game with no storyline. You make your own story and play. No other games like DayZ or can compare side by side, 100%. Like there are some that gets close, there are some that gets, some of those flavors, but this is why I stay with DayZ and have done since I found it. The survival side of it, it's what I get to. You could take the infected out and just go full. It didn't matter what sort of animal you put into it. The infected is not the draw. It's that I don't know what's going to happen around the corner. Every action that I take is going to be either detrimental to my health or beneficial. And each of those decisions can go either way. But yeah. Oh, g'day, Mr. Noah. Sakau is a human meat map. It is. It is. But you know what? It is good to have it in. It is good to have, a big dose of assets to be able to use. A lot of people were talking about some of the weapons they want in. RPGs, M203s, Laws, M249, bows. But probably the best one that I've sort of found was the ability to be able to use a sharpened stick or a pitchfork as a javelin. To be able to actually throw a weapon and to be able to hurt people with it.
Yeah, even throwing stones at people.
Even throwing stones
It
at
makes
people.
sense.
Yeah, just to fucking hit them in the head and knock them out with a large stone.
Yeah. Oh, I like that one. I never thought of that. Shit.
Yeah. Hey, Rena, how you doing, bro? But, they were also talking about large person transports, buses, big military vehicles that can, move a full faction around. I don't know if you could throw an axe and inflict pain back in the day. There you go. One thing the dev did say as well is with the mod size limits for console, they want to make sure we have access to sale mods maps that PC do. So that's also one thing they're working out, as well as around limits, but cool that they have that in mind. So what that's talking about is bringing some of the modded maps to console and the sale mods, as in the ones that you can go and buy and add onto your server or add onto yourself. Yeah, the open back trucks. Yeah, I can, if they put the boat mechanic in the back, 100%. Same
Or
as,
even, even the
access to
bus.
the same mods and maps that PC do. See, that would be cool. As long as they, it will also put in a big market for the modders. You think about all the PC modders that are out there, it'll be a fresh market for their mods. Dumbgrad's got an absolutely wicked barricade and house building one where you can use original houses and stuff to build bases inside of and fortify. But that'd be hectic. Be very, very filtered. Very, very filtered. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know much about the Armory Forger mods and stuff like that. So I might have to go venture on there and have a little squizzy just to see what the back which means we may get infected kicking indoors, infected doing that, climbing on cars.
Yeah, one of the biggest thing about the mods coming in though that I've noticed about Reforger is it's all good and well having those mods, but when it takes over an hour to 2 hours for the mod to download, and then you end up sitting in a queue for an hour to play the server that has those mods, if a hassle that is.
True. It's a lengthy process to download
Yeah.
all the mods and have it ready to go. So if I want to jump onto a modded server, I'm looking at a 3 hour loading time for some of the big, heavily modded servers.
I mean, that's what it's like on Reforger, and I could only see it being the same, if not worse, because we're not running Infusion.
Yeah. That's pretty hectic. It must be painful for the gamer. He's like, yeah, jump on this server, bud. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. This is sick. And you go do it. You're like 60 minutes to download shit. And then you're in queue. Then you got to wait. Yeah.
Well, I was sitting around with Yachty yesterday, helping him work through his application for Bastion. And while we were doing that, he's saying his mods had just finished downloading for Reforger. I was like, oh yeah? Oh, how long did that take? He's like, oh, it's taken an hour and a half. Oh shit. He's like, yeah, now I've got to sit in the queue that's 30 people strong. Like, what?
Must be a
And
good
he's like,
server.
there are other servers you can play. Well, the thing is with it is, it's like DayZ. The good servers have the pop, but some servers don't have the pop. So you can spend all that time downloading those mods to jump in a server with low pop. Who wants to play low pop servers?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the... And
But I mean,
I suppose
that's the
after
same-
an hour and a half of downloading it, you're semi-committed. Like, fuck it, I'll just play whatever because I just sat here waiting for it.
yeah.
That's PC life already.
Yep.
It's a normal. Once you have to have mods, you don't have to download them again every time you play. Is there like a database you can just download all the mods?
I mean, that's all good and well, T-Bag, but what happens when our consoles don't have the storage that PCs do?
Yeah.
So if you want to play different servers, you're going to have to refresh and delete mods and re-download mods.
If they do it like Steam do. That'd be I mean, it's all right for me. I've got a terabyte of space on my Xbox, and all that's on there is like PUBG, Minecraft, Animal Party, and DayZ. Like, I don't have any mega huge games on there like COD that's like 400 gigs or some shit like that. So size and limits is going to be the certain amount per server. So they're going to limit. So you're going to have slots for your mods. So you can only have set amounts, so the player can then have enough space to be able to download it, which will be allocated in the files of DayZ already. So there's not any space difference. But you may have to port mods in and out. Which would suck, because if you're in that situation like you guys, and it's 10 mods to download and it takes an hour, and then your mate comes on and he wants to play a different one, you got to delete 5 and download another 5. You're just consistently fucking downloading mods all day.
Yeah. What game are you playing this week? Oh, mod download simulator. Want to join in?
That's what it's called now, the mod download simulator. Oh, that's a crack up. That is a crack up. But yeah, a lot of gun attachments. Victory's always good for his spill about, optics and stuff like that for different types of guns. You can read through that. But yeah, a lot of people ask for bows. Bows, code locks, and the leather sets. I would also like to see the wire mesh barriers to be heavily incorporated. If anyone remembers them, you used to be able to throw the mesh barrier down and fill it with sand or dirt.
Does that still work on Community? I know it did a little while ago.
I don't know. I haven't tested it. You can always test it. Chuck one in.
I know like a year and a half ago they could.
Yeah.
I'm not sure now whether it's changed.
T-Bag says, yeah, it was on 87.8. The dev explained a lot of what he had in mind or what to make it work. We need to pull them on here to get console, tear them apart for a couple of hours. I've already put in the request. I'm going to hit Mark up now. Say, Mr. Markey, we want to interview in 2025. Can we organise it? All you need is to get on an Xbox. Worst comes to worst, you're all Twitch affiliated. We could probably port you in as a side run. The only thing it'll be hard for will be hearing people. We might actually be able to get into a Discord party. Might not be here in person in the character, but I can't see any reason why they couldn't.
Hey. They should have enough dev kits there that I'm sure they could lend them one for the day to come on the podcast, right?
100%. So we're going to have to push for that. Ra says the perfect, exactly what I want to see. Player activities in the car, whether it be shooting, bandaging.
Well, funny, because that is exactly one of the things that they touched on when they spoke to the dev. That's what he wants to do too. And that was part of the reason why with the boats, we can do it from the boats. So they are obviously starting to look at that.
Yeah. Because you probably get about, 8 or 9 Ks before you get zipped off the back of it. And it's only because there's nothing secure in it. If you could imagine, in a bus where you just get caught on the back seat. If you slipped out, you didn't actually slip out of the bus. Everyone's just jammed to the back seat, pinned up against the wall and can't fucking move. So you have to slow down to release it.
Yeah.
But see, it's some of these key mechanics that will not only keep the community involved, but keep new players coming back. Because these are the things that, you can find in other games. Look at GTA, you can shoot rocket launchers out of their fucking passenger seat of your mate's vehicle while, you're cruising down the street. There's a lot of games like that can do it. It's a a mechanic that should be in the game. There shouldn't be a reason why it's not. It should be definitely front of mind. Anyone else want to add anything into what you want to see in 2025 before I shoot it off to Mr. Q for some news? As we said at the start of the episode, we are just doing a little run through of what you'd like to see in 2025. We also realised today that it's our 100th episode of the podcast. We're going to do a little run through next week about the last 100 episodes. Stacking paper. Gazzy, explain.
Yeah.
Explain. Are you talking about in your inventory? Cheers. Are you talking about just the
I
ability?
would say that's what he means.
Rather than
Just to
have...
hold it in stacks. Even stacks of 10 rather than it has to be single stack. That makes no sense.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't gather properly.
Yeah.
Smallest item and it's designed to be stacked. It's called a book.
Yeah.
Well, is that what they're missing? Are they missing like a little clipboard folder or something? Add the clipboard in, add a pen, now you can write on paper. 2025 needs an Xbox streamer event. Needs a console event from the devs. Doesn't matter what it is, just something, even if they work with the people on the ground floor and just basically initialize it and help back it, I think that will do a lot for them.
Well, I would like to think that they noticed they stuffed up and would take that into account for next time.
Yeah. They are keen on the events of the last one. DayZ Unite went off. And not only not only with, gathering the tops of the PC worlds together and bridging the gaps, but I think it also showed the community there is pathways to be able to... These devs are no longer closed off. I think for a long time there, they were closed off and very shut away from their community because all they caught was backlash. I would too. If I was building the game and people played it and people just said, it's fucking shit, but I still had a massive player base, I'd stop talking to you as well. You call it shit, yeah, you're playing it. So... I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, well, I think what they really need to do for 2025 is put in a better reporting system on experimental, so people don't have to go through and use the feedback tracker. They can just do say in game for their feedback tracking. They'd get so much more feedback that way. They really would, because it's as easy as it is to use. It's still a hassle. And it's still having to put your controller down, pick up your phone, and do something different. If they made it as simple as you can do it from your controller, they'd get so much more feedback on it.
Yeah, and make it feedback, not just a bug tracker. Have the ability to be able to put good feedback in.
Yes and no, because then you open the gates for, game shit, fix the fucking game. Fucking deepers shit, deepers. They'd get hundreds and hundreds of those.
Very, very true. Very, very true. Lady Ponce, welcome. Very, very... Well, they cop that on every post that they put out anyway, so... But even in the same format, what part of the game do you like? What part... some form of... When they go to change something, they need to go and say, listen, should we change this? And listen to the whole community and take that into account. I think they are looking at race doing the feedback tracker and make it a lot more user friendly. It should be. It needs to be a bit more. 2025 hate. You know, it's nothing you do. It's coming. It's definitely coming. Yeah, so negative, Mr. Noah. 2025 is going to be a massive year for gaming. Massive. Yep. Huge. You're probably going to find that now there'll be things like the AI systems will start being heavily incorporated in game. That's going to change gaming forever. When you've got an online server that has AI incorporated to it, reading and feeling the server at the moment time and making changes and slight modifications. Imagine a AI-generated infected horde that would know where players would by sounds and stuff like that and migrate their way there, or from player data know where players hang out the most and migrate to those spots.
Yep. Or even the AI mechanics themselves learning player behaviors in the game and adjusting difficulty to deal with how the player reacts.
Yeah, or putting different scenarios in it. Like you have maybe had your ass kicked from wolves 10 times. So rather than send a pack of 5, we're going to send a pack of 2. So it knows who you are and knows what goes on. What will I be doing on December 29, 2079? I'll be chuffed because I'll be 98.
Probably. Yeah, I was going to say, probably eating worms, mate.
That's it. I'll probably be hooked up to a cybernetic machine. I'll be a head in a jar, telepathically playing video games, thinking I'm still in 2024, doing the podcast over and over and over and over again to keep my brain sane. Because my grandkids don't want to let me die and I'm on a shelf. Fat ass thumbs for this shit. The fingers you are using are too fat. To order a darling one, please mash the keypad now. The Simpsons, that's getting banned. But yeah, that's basically the run through. No, you can't map yet. If you can map, that'd be good. Key binding and mapping is probably another thing that was asked for. It didn't appear on my list, but we had the usual clothing run. We had the maps. The DSA launcher for console to filter out certain mods. So a new launcher. To sort of help filter out mods. MJ Keenan Tool. Don't know who he is. My friend is got a new launcher called launchz.com. It's similar to the DZSA, but without the crashing. I have no problems with my launcher, the original. Sausage finger syndrome. I have that. And dyslexia, not a fun combination. No, it wouldn't be. Mr. Q put one, a rifle mount for all scopes. Been asking for that for a while.
Yep, for a long time. Yep. Unfortunately, I don't think the devs will release that officially because, yeah, you imagine having a Mosin of a hunting scope on it. Oh my god.
Oh shit, I'd murder so many people.
Yeah.
I would murder so many people. It's only now these days I struggle to. I need to get glasses and stuff like that. That I moved to the tundra to get a better idea of what I'm shooting, especially still targets. If it moves, I can hit it, but If it don't move, I'm fucked. I can't see it.
Oh, right now, I know the key now. Stand still.
Yeah, stand still.
Stand
I can't
still,
see
Green. You
it.
won't be able to hit the side of
No,
the barn door.
as soon as you start, I'm glad people like to move and walk side to side to avoid bullets. That's how I find you. Long scope used to fit the Moes, and they removed the one they removed. We also had admin tools console, the ability to drag bodies, hang dead bodies, proper torture mechanics. They said I'm not a psychopath, I promise. But no, that plays into the role player world, especially in the prison environment. But yeah, that's all the rundown that we had for on the list. I hope I sleep for 40 hours. You're still up, Noah? Ugh. Yep, only do that for fun and excitement. Mr. Q, do you want to drop some news? I think you want to talk about, you've done your little dev run. Do you want to talk about your current server you're rolling on or something else?
Something it sort of dovetails from the server that I play on. So I've been playing RP servers pretty much since I started playing the game. And there's one thing that always pops up and always seems to happen is this RP server will be strong and go on for sometimes a month, sometimes 6, but then ends up dying off because of a lot of toxicity and a lot of rule breakers. Does DayZ need to pull back on the sort of players that are joining RP servers just to cause shit and not to go in there and RP? Or is it a free-for-all? If you can get into a server, do what you like.
Yeah, I come down. So I had a little troll trouble over the last 24 hours. Not really troll trouble. It's the can we do it crew is how I put it. Happens a lot in a lot of servers. Doesn't matter if it's role play. Doesn't matter if it's PvE. It's where can we push that limit to, and how far can we push it before something happens. For no other reason but to see what they can get away with. Or
See if they can do it, yep.
Or just to see if you can do it. Like, we're on the minigame server at the moment. They wanted to get crossbows to the lobby. Now, the crossbows are in Stinnick Lake, which is on one side of the map, and the lobby's on the direct opposite. You don't have enough food or supplies to be able to walk and run across, so they went from the Pirate 1 to the boat race that's on Livonia, drove the boats down to the airfield, grabbed the cars from Demolition Derby, worked out a way how to get them out, and then drove them to the lobby. And they had 10 trucks at the lobby. Now, when I was talking to them, they had 10 trucks at the lobby. When I was talking to them, I said, well, how long did that take you to do? 2 hours.
Jesus.
2 hours. Now, these were just young fellas. They probably sounded maybe no more than 15 and a couple of younger fellas. But, that was their mission. And we talk about missions all the time and, missions to keep us entertained. And we stay, well within the rules and the morals of the server. But, as young people, you have that willingness to explore and the time to do it. And I find that's what's happening on most servers. They are pushing the limits because they want to find out how far they can go, and if you can. They're little, very silent bobs. They're experimentals of DayZ servers where they're pushing the limits of the rules They're pushing the limits of the boundaries that are set. You know, as we did as teenagers ourselves, except we were out partying and drinking and doing all sorts of that. These days now, it's pushing the limits of video games. That's why you find a lot of people hacking games, a lot of people, you know, the whole genre that came out of WoW of outside the map and how far people could travel outside the map. You know, you're not supposed to be there. You got Halo people doing the same thing. Can we get on top of the ship? And they're playing Halo and trying to get all the way up to the top in spots that you're not supposed to. It's a genre that's come out recently that's, you know, I found has influenced the younger generation of what gaming is about. And it's not just follow what the rules say and how it goes so you don't get done. It's more of how can we push the rule holders? Lady Pond says it seems
How
right
far
now.
can we push the boundaries?
Yeah, how far can we push the boundaries? Lady Pond says it seems right now if a server is getting good pop, the idiots usually flock towards it. That's it, especially in RP at the moment. And
Well,
you wonder why
now-
there's a
now you
12-page
see,
fucking
though-
essay to get in.
But Ponce, it's not just right now though, because that's happened in just about every RP server that I've been in, and I've been in a lot of the big ones. And it does. As soon as it starts getting high pop, you get the idiots that push in. And I think that was my whole point. Is do they realise that they end up ruining it for everybody, especially the people that are enjoying the RP server? Because what happens is it kills the pop, and then that server all of a sudden gets a bad name, and then the server goes downhill and collapses.
That's right. And it was funny
Yeah, so
about...
I
Yeah, go.
Well, I get the fact that, and a lot of it is like we're just talking about the young ones. A lot of it is, you know, between 14 and 18-year-olds that do it. The little excuse that I had yesterday of why they were set landmines on the clothing area down here was because they wanted to keep see people's reaction of being put off guard, and that takes me to like those prank style YouTubers and TikTokers that are out there, you know, annoying people like Johnny Somali, who's currently in South Korean jail or something like that, or you know, they're out for the negative reaction of people and getting a laugh off that. I guess a lot of that's the culture these days too, because you look at all the IRL streamers that are actually becoming really famous now for doing dumbass shit.
Fuck off. So, you know, that's the level that it's coming into it and what owners have to, I guess, combat against. Noah said, today I went to a DayZ RP prison for 35 minutes for wearing a hat that was banned but still spawned in a house. Eh?
Well, you shouldn't have put it on, Noah. You should have put that hat down. The TSF will get you.
Oh, okay. So you had to go to jail because you had a hat on that spawned in a house, but you're not allowed to wear it. Well, that's once again where the same rule goes down to you can't steal a 6-pack of beer, but it's pretty easy to pick it up and walk out.
Yeah.
You know, it's not.
And I guess you need to try it, man.
Never
Gotta try
really
everything in
RP'd.
DayZ.
Yeah, it's not. A lot of people
Yeah.
get RP as the whole cloak and daggers. You play yourself. I think I play the best style of character. I'm just a homeless guy. So I've always been on the streets. I've always kicked around, and now the apocalypse is on. I'm actually living better than I did. So I play a different sort of lean-to. So I'm a happy-go-lucky fella who's living the best life of his times, where everyone's all, oh no, shit, everything's fucked. Letty Ponce, yeah, I know what
Well,
you
a
mean.
lot,
I've only been RPing for a year. I'm still a noob queue. No, that's not new.
you know, and the thing is, I think why a lot of people don't like RP is because they get intimidated by it, thinking that they have to, develop a character and play a character. You really don't. You can just play naturally, and it comes natural.
Yeah, you just got to
And
remember
it's
the position of your character. You know, you got
mm,
killed, so therefore you do not remember. But yeah, definitely. And you don't have to throw on voices or anything like that. You can, and you will get people out there. You'll be amazed how people, amplify your gaming experience by just throwing on a voice. You watch some of the clips of Lords of Livonia, and when we took the town wizard out for an adventure, he was wicked. He gave us a whole rundown. He was played the whole voice and everything.
well, even going as far as we've had Screw on before, and Screw doesn't come in and play it himself. You
No,
know, he usually comes
Maxis.
in and plays as his character.
Yep.
Yep.
Comes in as Maxis and pulls on a full show and speaks about himself in the third person. And yeah, RP is absolutely wicked and a good expansion on your DayZ experience.
Yeah.
5 human people walked
RP
me
is
to
a fever
jail
dream.
for like 30 minutes because I ran away because 10 army people told me to stop and get down. Yeah, well, that's a problem. If in real life, if they had a gun at you, you wouldn't move. But because there's
Mm.
no, I think in that situation, RP servers need the ability to be able to shock your controller when you die or get hurt. So there's a outcome to if you do that sort of thing.
Well, that's I mean, the biggest thing you got to remember is you got to have value for life. Now,
Yeah,
if you play with that in mind, that you've got to value your life like you would normally, it makes it a whole lot more exciting.
yeah, that's right. Situations are a whole lot different too.
Hmm.
Yeah, you can even play yourself, just follow the rules. Yep. Noah's supposed to act like a scared person, not run away. You're meant to have fear for your life. Got Plaguelands coming to Xbox now from PS5 2025. That's a full Western and medieval servers. We actually brought that up in the server news at the start of the show, Mr. Teabag, about Plaguelands coming through and the Valhalla server and stuff like that. It's going to be hectic. I need to learn RP. It just takes time. I watched Family Guy for 35 minutes while in jail. Yeah, so that's pretty funny that you had to sit there in character for 35 minutes in jail. Did you learn your lesson? Will you break the law again? That is the big question. Is there law? Is that efficient for the punishment? I think she'll do an absolutely wonderful job because she's got the passion. She's very, very passionate for it. See you scream, that's it. Fucking hell, that would have been loud. I've heard you scream, Lady Ponce.
Yeah. uh,
Probably made the ears bleed. Yeah, probably. But, they're not going to rob you again, are they? That's for sure. But it's quite an interesting little topic to bring up. High pop trolls and
yeah.
why they do it, the pains in the ass. Oh, well, because it was more fun to get robbed and murdered. Because it doesn't happen, and that's what RP really has that focus on the not the things that don't usually happen and playing them out in full, like going to jail and being,
Hmm.
harassing the guards, and the guards have to constantly watch you. You are providing jobs for people when you go to jail.
That's right. You're building into someone else's RP experience just by going to jail.
Yeah, 100%. High trolls. That's what we're going to call them from now on. High trolls. Those high pop trolls. So you're a high troll. You see a high pop and go, ooh, I've got to destroy it. Fucking assholes. Gotta be a pain. You can be a pain in the ass, but be cute with it. Adhere to the rules, but still push those limits. Yeah, that's right. And if you haven't done so already, go and check out some of the RP servers in the world. There are plenty of them on my Discord. We're trying to get the guy from Bastion RP to come on the show and have a chat about his server. So that's pretty interesting. That's a mimic copy from the PC one. Enclosed city that you cannot escape. Or can you? Very less supplies and governed, so... Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's the flavoritism of it. That's the flavoritism of RP. You get people will actually get very, very passionate about the server and get very, very passionate about what goes on. So that's going to be hectic. But that's all I've got. What about you, Mr. Q? Anything else?
Nope, that's me for the week.
Cool, cool. I will say a big bucket of win to Mr. Boydie and Survivor FM 87.8. Mr. Boydie's thrown in the hat when it comes to their podcast. That podcast helped inspire this one. It's helped inspire many others. It took over from the previous podcasts, so it has carried a legacy across. Boydie's going to be now focusing on his spotlights. He does a very good job on his spotlights. It's a lot less hassle. You just got to meet with your guest and talk to him, whereas, you know, a podcast is a lot of organising guests and run sheets, and especially with them, they have to organise different co-hosts all the time. I'm lucky enough that my co-hosts, well, half of them anyway, are like me and have nothing else to do on Sunday but chill and talk shit.
Hey, this is our church, all right?
It's our church.
Never miss church on a Sunday.
That's it. Never. We missed one. But yeah, big bucket of win to them. And, you know, it came down to life. And sometimes life does take over. Sometimes circumstances take over and you can't do what you're most passionate about. So, yeah, big bucket of win to him. He says he's going to be still around. Discord's going to be around. If you're PC focused, orientated, go see the boys at Friendly, a DayZ podcast. They put on a good spiel on Spotify. Otherwise, you can always come here. We can always, we tend to venture into that cusp between PC and the Xbox world. But yeah, a little sad news. But plenty of things coming in 2025. I know a few servers going to come out in force. But ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time we have for our podcast. Do you want to punch on? Do you want to mini game this up at the end? What would you like to hit, Mr. Q?
Yeah, let's you say go punch on. Let's go take the weapons out. Let's have a good slash and bash.
Oh, fair enough. I don't think the ground's very level, but you're dead either way. If you want to join us, DayZ minigames. We're going to punch on. I don't know if anyone's on the server. Oosh. Okay. Fucking Superman. This is our arena. We did a little expansion on it. It just needs the floor redone. It's not as flat as I want it. But this means you can sit up here with your buds and watch them punch the shit out of each other without too much hassle. Now I'm going to slaughter Mr. Q. Weapon of choice.
Right.
Sledgehammer. Pitchfork. Where is Mr. Guys? You coming down, guys? You ready to die?
There he is. Too high.
Oh. Oh, there it is. All right, gentlemen. Mr. Q, you can call it.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go! Ah!
Oh, he's got the mallet.
Oh, no. No.
Ow,
That's it, Warhammer for the win. He's just swinging wildly now. Oh, it's not alright.
Get up! Get up! Get up!
It's in. Oh, I went out.
Ha-ha! Weaponless you are! Oh shit, no, not the pitchfork!
Yeah, I got the fucking pitchfork now. Still my weapon.
No, no, no! No, 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 no! No, Bobby!
Ow! I ain't winning this one, am I? And he's still my other weapon. Slow motion. Slow motion.
Ah!
That's it.
I'm going.
Run away!
Poke, poke, poke. Ah, the peasant's dead. Who is victorious? Mr. Q. Mr. Q, are you victorious?
Of course.
Of
Of
co-
course.
Of course. There he is down there. There he is, we see ya. Gonna give us your victory dance now.
Ah.
The old shoe shuffle. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time we have for our podcast. Well, thank you all for joining us. Don't forget you can catch us early during the week. There'll be a little adventure on this Bastion RP. Check it out. Super keen for that one. But apart from that, you guys have an absolutely lovely weekend. If you'd like to join and punch on with people in this server, it's just called DayZ minigames. Come and have a crack, shoot, drive, kill. That's what it's all about. But apart from that, big shout out to Mr. Q. Big shout out to Mr. Gazzy coming out for a punch on. But apart from that, that's our stream done and dusted.